Welcome back to the fourth devlog of Orbit Economica. Today we're going to be overhauling cards, aesthetics, and audio. We have a lot of ground to cover, so let's get started. First up, the actual function behind mission cards works fine, but I am sick of seeing them pop into place without any animation or pizzazz. What I think would be better is for the cards to animate from the deck on the left into position on the right. The easiest way I can think of for how to do this well is to have the real cards spawn in with their automatic horizontal placement, but have them hidden from the player's view to start. Then I'll spawn in some fake visual cards from under the deck, lerp the fake card from its spawn point to the real card's position, and then delete the fake card while revealing the real card to the player visually. This lets me customize the visual movement however I want while not having to do any calculations for the actual placement under the hood. My first attempts to try this did not work out so well, and then there were some placement issues, and then I couldn't quite get them to disappear and reappear correctly, and then I had issues with the timing of multiple cards. But eventually I got all of that sorted out and the animations were mostly working as I wanted. I also had to add a caching background system for when a player would open a mission and see the cards animate, close the mission, and then reopen the mission. I didn't want to see the animation every time we reopened the screen, only the first time. Once all of that was in place, it still didn't handle multiple draws well, which can happen if the player plays a card that is a draw 2 or draw 3 card. So I had to fiddle with that for a while until finally I got it all working quite nicely. Once it was working exactly how I wanted, at this point I got sick of looking at the flat colored borders around selected cards and decided to begin my aesthetic overhaul there. I implemented a nice gradient system that animated at a set speed, rotating around the card while it was selected. Next up for aesthetics was the dice roll screen to determine a hit or miss during a mission. I reused the animated gradient code to create a nice circling effect for the damage and shield text, and generally spruced up some of the colors and textures that looked quite bland before. I liked how the dice roll looked now, but it was missing audio badly. I had been putting off creating an audio system for a long time, but it was now or never. I went ahead and coded up a nice modular system that lets me assign audio clips in the Unity GUI through Weaver, and then statically reference those clips anywhere else in my code. I wired up my new audio handler to my existing event handler system, and just like that I could request sound effects to be played from anywhere in my codebase very cleanly. The first thing I did was edit together some dice sounds along with some card sounds, and here was the result of that. Oh wait, sorry, and here is the result of that. I also added a music handler alongside sound effects. I'm still working on which music I want to actually have, but it's at least all coded up now and ready for use later. Audio has distracted me from my true passion, which is visually overhauling my old bad designs. After I finished card gradient borders, I continued working on them visually, overhauling their bland design with new borders and adding a nice hologram effect. The mission screen became more visually interesting with pulsing glows and color customization for each type of mission. It took some fiddling to figure out how to control the glow and shadow effects, but once I actually had them in code, it was really easy to loop around and start just cycling the alpha over and over again. Once I had a pulsing effect coded up for shadows and glow, it was fairly simple to just port that over and use it for images themselves. Here I'm using a holographic effect that I have on a similar loop where it gets more and less alpha to try to simulate some kind of like glowing effect. Mission colorization was broken into the 3 basic types of missions, each with their own specific color. Combat, which is red, espionage, which is mostly purple, and diplomacy, which is blue. I then added some shine effects and parallaxing to the cards and card icons for even more visual pop. 3D parallax was surprisingly easy to do since Unity is a 3D engine under the hood, even though I'm using it as a 2D engine. I just had to drag out the visual elements I wanted to parallax on the face-on camera axis, and then my existing code that pushes at the card when the cursor hovers over it takes care of the rest. And there we have the new mission screen in all its glory with its drawing animation, attack animation, and cards all redesigned for the better. We covered a lot on the aesthetic side, but I actually implemented some nice game logic as well this week, so that means we're going to the end of Devlog lightning round. First up, notifications like ally requests and call to arms now allows you to click a button and be shown which planets the counterparty owns in the galaxy if you have discovered them, making it easier to know who is who. Next up, all planets now display relevant diplomatic information easily in-world without having to click into the planet to see what's going on. Things like allied or at war, who you have a trade deal with, and which nations like and hate you. Next, I implemented bulk movement pricing within single trades so that if you are either buying or selling a lot of resources, the price will change accordingly due to the volume. The specific calculation is nicely laid out here as well, so if you're curious why something is cheap or expensive on a specific planet, you can tell precisely why. Finally, I overhauled some other screens' aesthetics like third-party industries using the visuals I nailed down for the mission screen earlier. Whew. And that wraps up Devlog 4 for Orbit Economica. If you liked what you saw, please wishlist the game on Steam, link is in the description below. If you want more devlogs, please like and subscribe here on YouTube. I also have links to my Discord channel and Twitter accounts where I post intra-week updates daily. Thanks for watching and have a great day.